Good morning guys, and welcome back to beautiful Cornwall. Today we are exploring St Michael's Mount, which you can see in the background here. It's actually low tide right now, which means you can cross to the island by foot, which is really cool. So we're going to go do that, but first up, a spot of breakfast.
Making a cheap brekkie for taking off for the day. This is most likely going to be brunch, because even if we have brekkie at 7 in the morning, we never seem to have lunch. So make it a good one. Yogurt and berries. Nice.
So we're walking across to St Michael's Mount now, and at high tide this is always underwater, but it's low tide now and it reveals this kind of like big cobblestoney kind of road that we can cross on foot to the island. Coffee time?
Bit chilly, isn't it? It's cool view though.
I've got loads of light.
What?
All the hordes of people coming.
I really like getting places early.
Yeah.
Just because you get that little bit of time where you're basically there on your own.
Yeah. It's good.
Like you can see them from ages. They're going from there and all the way up the beach. Not even from that car park. That car park must be full. That must be from that like overflow car park. It's cool that you can come here for free though. Like onto the island, you just can't go in. The people still live in the castle.
Really?
You know how I said that same family has been living here since 1650? They still live in the castle, but they've given it away to the National Trust, but retained a 999-year lease to live in it. And they manage the tourism with the National Trust to what people can see and can't see. I love it how people like buy things over here and give it to the National Trust.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So that everyone can enjoy it. I think that's amazing.
It is.
Right, so we've just come into the National Trust part of St Michael's Mount. We're here at the Pilgrim Steps. This place has had people on it forever, like way back to the Bronze Age in like 2000 BC. But in around 400 AD, Christianity came here, and as it's such a beautiful kind of magical place, obviously it was quite popular, and in around 1000 AD to 1450 AD, it was a huge place of pilgrimage. So pilgrims would come from all over, and they would come and they would pray down the bottom in the village, and they would then climb the steps up to the castle and pray up the top there. So we're here at the Pilgrim Steps. Let's go on a pilgrimage.
So there was a rumour about a guy called Jack, hey?
Right. There is a rumour about this island. A rumour? It's more of a legend. There is a legend from way back when about a giant living on this island in a cave. And a boy called Jack comes over, traps him in the cave, and then cuts his head off with an axe. And then everyone was like, yeah, you killed the giant. And they called him Jack the Giant Killer. Oh no! And over here you've got the Giant's Well, which was their main source of water for 100 years until they connected it up to the mains water on the land in like the early 1900s. And there's also things like there's a giant's heart stone in the cobblestones apparently that we haven't found yet. And so there's a few things on this island that allure to that legend. And I don't know, maybe that's the basis of the Jack and the Beanstalk story, because it sounds really similar. Because apparently like the giant like stole all the villagers like gold and like 8 children and stuff like that. So I know I've heard that before. The only thing missing is a beanstalk.
Where is it?
from I don't know. He said.
So we've been standing here for ages and we finally found the heart. It's way smaller than we thought. Where is it?
It's in the cobblestones just down there. Cornwall, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely breathtaking. Alright, so we've made it to the top now, up to the castle. St Michael's Mount gets its name from Mont St Michel in France because the island was gifted to them by Edward the Confessor. But since then it's been like taken over and then been taken over by other people and other kings and wars and stuff like that. And so it's changed hands like a heap of times. It's now owned by the St Aubyns and the National Trust. The history of the place is absolutely amazing. In 1473, it was taken over by the Lancasters during the War of the Roses. In 1588, it was the first place to spot the Spanish Armada offshore. So it lit a beacon right up the top, and that beacon was the first in a series of beacons that went all the way back to London to alert London that the Spanish Armada was invading. And then in 1659, it was given to the St Aubyns, and they've lived here in the castle since then, and they still live here now, which is amazing. Then in the 1950s, they donated it to the National Trust, but they signed a 999-year lease to keep living here. So at the moment they're living here, but the National Trust takes care of it and arranges the tourism and stuff like that. And now that we're at the top, I think we should go and have a look inside, don't you?
Yep. That,
Yeah.
or that, that we think is a really old Celtic cross, because that's what they always look like, don't they?
With the big like circle thing at the top.
Yeah, it goes up like that and then like that.
Like a knot.
Yeah. But let's just not say that.
How beautiful it's down here.
Hey, yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm obsessed with the colour of the water. Look at that thing there as well. That's like another like war bunker watchtower thing. It's not a tower, watch bunker.
We've been through the castle, we've had a bit of an explore around the island, and now we're heading back, but we've missed the tide, and so we've had to take our shoes off. We might get a little bit wet on the way back, but we'll be alright. It's a pretty cool island, hey?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I would have liked to have spent a bit more time there because there's a really lovely garden, and they do little village tours, and talk about the history of the fishing in the village and stuff like that. It'd be amazing to stay the night on there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I didn't even think about that. Here we go.
Oh, that was your job then.
I might just make it. Made it. Just the very bottom of my jeans is a little bit wet, but we're all good. We're nearly back across the other side. And just like that, we're back to dry land. Wasn't too bad. Just reached the very bottom of my, the very bottom of my knees. My jeans are still dry, and we're back to the other side, to the mainland now.
So you might notice some boats behind me. We came really early in the morning to get to St Michael's Mount and saw these diggers on the beach. And we've just realised now that the boats are running, that the diggers were digging out a channel in the sand so that the boats could go at kind of low tide. So the boats are running now, even though there's still people walking through the water to get there. And they must do that every day. Get diggers down here every morning, dig out a channel for the boats, and then when the tide comes in, it fills up with sand again, and then do it the next morning. Quite an operation they've got going on here, but I mean, with the amount of tourists, they must be doing pretty well.
Thanks for watching, guys, and coming along with us on our journey to St Michael's Mount. Really hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please give us a big thumbs up and click subscribe to keep up with our next videos, and we'll see you in the next one. My husband is the most handsome. Look at him. No, stop. Just check it out. I'm a big fan of the beanie and the beard.
Get out of my face.